telling my SIL that she can't speak for my brother's late wife? My brother met his late wife, Emma, when they were both 12. I was 14. Emma and I became really amazing friends, and she and my brother ended up dating by the time they were 14 and were together until her death just after her 28th birthday. They had 2 boys together who were 5 and 7 when Emma died. 2 years after Emma died, my brother met his current wife Laura. They dated for 2 years and got married 18 months ago. The boys are now 11 and 13. The boys aren't really crazy about Laura. They are respectful, but she wants a more motherly relationship with them, and they're not interested in that with her. My brother was sorta upset about their lack of interest in a closer relationship with Laura, and we were talking about it recently, and I brought up our own complicated relationship with our dad and his second wife. The background there is my brother and I are both adoptees. Our mom was the woman who adopted us at our births with our dad. She died when we were 6 and 8. Our dad pushed for us to call his second wife Mom. His wife pushed for the same. The fact we were adopted was used as a reason why we should be able to accept his wife as our mom. Because we weren't biologically related to our mom. Neither of us ever saw her as anything else, and Dad decided we should have no contact with each other if we didn't accept his wife and her kids as our mom and siblings. Emma knew how bad things were with our dad and his second wife, and she often heard my brother vent about how shitty Dad for never understood that him falling in love with someone else enough for them to be his wife didn't mean we would feel the same way about the same woman for her to be our new mom. When Emma knew she was dying, she told my brother to remember that if he found someone and their boys didn't want her to be more than his wife. She also wrote him a letter and touched on it there. He had me read the letter to him after Emma passed. Talking this all through with my brother helped him to realize he was doing what our dad had done. He said he somewhat understood Dad a little, in that the hope was there, but he never wanted to do to his boys what Dad did to us. He and Laura spoke. Then a couple of days ago my brother and Laura were at my house, and she was trying to tell him that Emma would have wanted the boys to have a second mom, and it's what all parents want. They would want someone doing that for their kids. My brother told her he knew that wasn't true. She asked if he really believed that and said he might have picked it up wrong. I told her she couldn't speak for Emma. I reminded her that I was present when Emma said it, and I read the letter to my brother. She told me I should be backing her up, and if I love Emma so much I would agree that she would want that. My brother told her I knew Emma. She said that didn't mean I had to accuse her so harshly. She told me I wasn't helping anyone by interfering. Comment 1. NTA. She can be acting like a mother to those boys without forcing them to call her such. There is a huge difference in that. It sounds almost as if she is working on the premise if they start calling me mom, they will start believing I am one. Instead of if I act like they are my kids, they might start seeing me as their parent. Also, not to forget, even with biological parents, 11 to 13 is the start of teenage years, and it isn't specifically good period during which kids feel very fond of their parents. Smile, it is more strenuous and rebellious time even when you are blood related. Comment 2. NTA. Why is everyone pushing these kids to feel something they don't? It's awful. Forget mom. You have a new one. They don't need that. They need love that doesn't need a definition, that's only designed to make the adults feel better. Kids first. They just need love without all of this pressure. Comment 3. So many stories here about people thinking that they are owed something by kids who have most their parent. No, you're in my life because my actual mother or father died, and the other parent found a new partner. If we're just patient and genuinely loved the kids, without pressuring and forcing them to love them, the love and affection would grow naturally. Don't marry someone with kids and think the kids owe you their affection, or that you're entitled to it. NTA. Thank you for having the kids back. You have done Emma so proud. Yelling at my husband for going out with his co-workers? My husband and I have a 6-month-old daughter. He works 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and I stay home to take care of her. When he gets home we split chores and taking care of the baby roughly 50-50. I always take the night shift for taking care of the baby, who has never been a good sleeper by any means, so that he can have a full night's rest for his day at work. Last night, he asked if I would be okay with him going out to grab drinks after work with his coworkers. He said it wouldn't take more than an hour, and that he'd be home at 5:30. I agreed. I think it's important for both of us to spend time outside the house, but also I knew he wouldn't be done that fast. Still, he assured me he would be home in time for her bedtime, 8 p.m., as he usually does her bedtime routine with her so that I can unwind a little before I put her to sleep and spend the rest of the night waking up every 3-ish hours, yay sleep regression. I had no problem with him staying out late in general, I just wanted to have a realistic idea of how long it would take so that I could mentally prep myself and not count on his help if he wouldn't make it. All I asked is that he keeps me posted. 5:30 rolls around and I still had not heard from him. I didn't want to bother him during his time off, so I refrained from texting or checking in. Then 6:30. At 6:45 I texted him hello with no answer. At 7:30 are you okay? At 8 I said an update would have been nice and put my phone away to get our baby ready for bed. Husband comes home at 8:30, confused why I'm upset. I was touched out, strung out, exhausted, barely eaten. All I wanted was a text, and I couldn't even get that. He then proceeds to compare me to the other wives of his co-workers who did not bother them the entire night. That was my breaking point. I yelled at him and told him that if he likes the wives of his co-workers so much then maybe he should go live with them instead. Edit: I just want to make clear I wasn't upset at him for going out. I encourage him to spend time outside the house, and would even be okay with him being home late. I was upset because he essentially ghosted me for hours after the time he assured me he would be home, then started comparing me to other women. Comment 1. NTA: he gave you a time that he planned to be home and he failed to send a simple text that he'd be late. You may have escalated it a bit, but being a touched-out, sleep-deprived mom of an infant, I think you get a pass on this one. Comment 2. He's a father now. It's perfectly fine for him to go out, but what's not fine is saying he'd need home by 5:30, then walked in the door at 8:30. OP: book a massage, plan a mani/pedi with your friends. Hell, just go sit on a bench for 3 hours. Plan this to happen 20 or 30 minutes after he gets home from work. Tell him you'll be home at X time, put your phone in do not disturb and come home 90 minutes after you said you would be. BTW, DND can be set up to let reheat calls ring, but don't answer. He can leave a message that you'll be able to listen to in less than a minute from when he left it. Comment 3. He should have texted. He could have been in a ditch somewhere. I got worried the other day. My husband went to have a drink with a coworker. Called me to say he was following his friend home but not stopping because it is on the way. I was doing dishes and realized an hour past should have been 20 minutes. I got scared. I called him and he was fine. They stopped somewhere else, which is okay, he just didn't tell me. He was home 5 minutes later. Throwing my friend's girlfriend out of my house? I, 35F, have been friends with Alex and Adam, twins 35M, since our moms were pregnant with us. Literally grew up together, including them being only 3 days older than I am. Alex got engaged several months ago and the wedding is the weekend before Halloween. I love his fiancée, Kelly, 30F, she's a beautiful human. Adam started dating a girl a few weeks ago, Jordan, 28F. Jordan is the definition of spoiled brat. Only child who has never been told no and quite obnoxious about daddy's money. Alex and Kelly have their wedding planned already and are just waiting for the day to arrive. Ever since Jordan came into the picture, she's been trying to insert herself into the wedding. I'm currently 6 months pregnant with my third and final kid. My other 2 littles will be ring bearers and my husband and I are both in the wedding party. Jordan has apparently pulled Kelly aside more than a few times asking to replace me as a bridesmaid so I don't ruin the aesthetic of the wedding. Kelly declines every time because we're basically family at this point. Kelly has told me each time she's done this and spoken to both Alex and Adam. Alex as her fiancé has taken her side, but Adam is staying neutral at best, avoidant at worst. My husband and I had both couples over last night for a chill dinner. Jordan immediately upon seeing said I look like a beached whale. So 6 months pregnant, not exactly small, but I'm size 6 when not pregnant. I was livid. I told her at some point my belly would go away, but she was stuck with her ugly personality and kicked her out of my house. Kelly, Alex and my husband all think I was within my right to throw her out, even if what I said wasn't exactly nice. Jordan did some more name-calling and yelling before dragging Adam by the arm out of the house. I told him he could stay if he wanted, and she called me a boyfriend stealing, which doesn't make sense, but okay. Today Adam texted me saying I took a low blow and needed to apologize for being as a whole to Jordan. I don't feel like apologizing, but I'm curious, was I out of line? Comment 1. NTA. Jordan is obviously trying to replace you with her. Not even a little bit okay. Tell Adam that you love him and you want to be happy with him and Jordan, but he needs to take a step back and look at the facts of the situation. The facts here are Jordan is trying to replace you in the wedding, and came to your house and did a very low blow insulting your pregnant body. So if she wants to give you a real genuine apology for trying to kick you out of the wedding, for overstepping into your friendship with Kelly, and for insulting your body while a guest in your own home, you'll consider apologizing to her for your comment. Until then, as far as you're concerned, the less you see her the better. And while you know she's his partner, you suggest he try to mentally step back, imagine that this wasn't someone he loved but just like two random people he knows. One tries to get the other kicked out of a wedding and, while a guest in that person's home, insults their pregnant body. Who would he say is wrong there? It's a rhetorical question you don't want him to answer, just think about. Comment 2. NTA. Your description of her was spot on, therefore you did not hit below the belt. Now if she had some physical flaw that you insulted, which you did not, then that would be below the belt. Most snotty people just can't handle having a mirror put in their face. I hope she doesn't last long. Comment 3. It is on her to apologize, not on you. Calling a pregnant woman a beached whale. I kind of wonder what she expected to happen. I kind of wonder if Adam has a thing for you. It might give some more context to her boyfriend stealing comment and also why she might be being so horrible to you. What she did was unacceptable no matter the reason, but just curious if that might be the case. NTA. Booking a venue without telling the owner that the celebrity her daughter loves would be there. After high school my friends and I left our hometown and I settled in a major city about a couple hours away. My friend Elizabeth, who lives several states away, wanted to have her wedding back home. I helped her look for venues, specifically ones that were self-contained, i.e., where we could sleep, eat, have the ceremony, and have the reception. Nancy, a hometown acquaintance, runs the venue we chose, and while in the process of visiting and getting everything finalized, I discovered that Nancy's young teenage daughter Natalie is obsessed with a specific celebrity, Alice, to the point of having Alice-themed merch and posters on her walls. Elizabeth became friends with Alice a few years ago, but I didn't know until we had a logistics call that Alice was going to attend the wedding. Alice mentioned that she wanted to be just another friend at the event instead of doing things like taking photos and signing autographs, and that she was fatigued from her latest project, which involved a lot of fan interaction. I reassured her that we were going to stay out in the countryside with a small group of people, so everything would be fine and she'd be just another wedding guest. The wedding went off without a hitch, but afterward Alice posted few photos with no location identifiers to social media. Still, Natalie follows her, recognized a couple of distinct landscape features, and was hysterical that Alice was at her mom's venue and she didn't get to meet her. Nancy is furious with me, and thinks that not only should I have told her Alice was going to be there, but that I should have gotten Natalie in front of her. I'm honestly torn and genuinely feel badly for Natalie, but it also feels like I would have been violating Alice's privacy to do so. Comment 1. NTA. It's not your job to disclose the entire guest list to the owner of the venue. Level of fame doesn't matter. Alice clearly wanted a stress-free environment to be with her friend for her wedding. In my opinion, the needs of the guests exceed the needs of the venue owners when it comes to events. Comment 2. NTA. Alice is entitled to attend her friend's wedding as a person, and not a celebrity at a fan event. Elizabeth is entitled to have a wedding about her, her spouse, and her people, and not have it turned into a celebrity fan event. Some fans' celebrity obsession in no way trumps a bride's wedding or a celebrity's private life. Comment 3. That vendor and her daughter are thinking too short term. If Alice had had to play celebrity during her time there, it's unlikely she would have been happy enough to post pics of it. Posting pics of it increases the likelihood of someone Alice knows asking about it and hosting their own party there, with Alice in attendance. Suggesting we leave my 4-year-old niece home when we go to Disney World? My sister went to Disney World with her husband and 2 daughters, let's call them Millie and Mara. Millie and Mara are 7 and 4 respectively. They had so much fun my sister asked if the 2 of us could go for my birthday in a few months. I said sure, but we should bring her older daughter, Millie, along because she's incredibly well behaved and loves Disney World above all things. I felt it would be a move to go without her since she would enjoy it more than both of us combined. My sister said she couldn't do that because, while she'd feel like going without Millie, she would feel like an even bigger taking Millie and leaving Mara behind. She said if Mara ever found out she would feel betrayed. The thing is, during their trip, Millie had the time of her life and was well behaved as usual. Mara also had fun, mainly at the hotel pool, but she is prone to tantrums, and not only did she have multiple fits, she refused to go on about 90% of the rides because she was afraid of the dark, of enclosed spaces, of loud noises, etc. Of course, this probably isn't all too unusual for a 4-year. But my sister and her husband had to take turns missing rides so one of them could sit with Mara each time she didn't want to go on one. When my sister and I go, I would like us to be able to ride whatever we please. Millie won't impede that goal, but Mara would. Plus I would genuinely enjoy having Millie there. She is hilarious and makes such outings fun. Frankly, I would feel like going without her. Edit. I know I sound like I favor Millie here, but I truly adore both girls. It's just that one of them can tolerate waiting in a long line, and even make it fun, while the other does better in more structured/less crowded settings. Mara, for example, is a delight when playing board games. I just wanted to clarify that I really do love them equally. Comment 1. YTA, this was just supposed to be a trip for you and your sister, yes? Then don't involve the kids at all. By telling your sister to bring one girl and not the other, you're sending a message even if you don't mean to. Mara will feel there's something wrong with her because her sister was invited to a fun birthday party with her mom and aunt/uncle, but she wasn't. You're creating a problem and a wedge that don't need to exist. Just have the outing with your sister. If you want to spend time with Millie at the park, go another time when the whole family can enjoy it. Comment 2. YTA. First of all, Mara acted very much like a normal 4-year-old on the trip. Your post seems to imply that Mara was being bad or an annoyance, but not wanting to go on intense or scary rides is a totally normal thing for a 4-year-old. And sometimes having a meltdown in a crowded, unfamiliar place is totally normal for a 4-year-old. When you take your very young child to an amusement park, you sign on for those things. Second, 4 years old is old enough to know when you're being excluded. You want Mara to sit at home, knowing her sister is out having fun with her mom and aunt? Because that's what would happen. It's also a great way to start breeding resentment between sisters. Either take both girls or don't take either. I'm sure there's a way to frame it to Millie that it's a special trip for you and her mom. It is way more fair for both girls to be disappointed than for one girl to get a super awesome trip and the other girl to get nothing.